basically I closed, GymLaunch, I work with them, Wojo Media, Jason Wojo, even like Max Start Event, Well Copy, he's a great guy, work with him too out of the group. Yeah, you guys too, working with you guys. So, I mean, it's been that strategy alone has changed a lot and helped me, those clients, like they may not be my top paying ones, but every time I name drop them, it's like, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's doing.
What's going on, guys? Andre Hagel Jr. here from Client Ascension, back with another student spotlight interview with one of my favorite students, one that I work very, very closely with on the list kit side and the Client Ascension side, Evan Seech. What's up, brother?
Well, it's good. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Well, you've made yourself pretty well known throughout the community, just not only by being a student that provides a ton of value in the program, which we'll get into, but also by working with a lot of students and businesses in the program with the different services you provide. So there's a lot to talk about, but let's just jump right in and hook the audience in with some pretty impressive results. So if you could just let us know when you joined the program, at what revenue level you joined, and then fast forward to today, where you're at with the business, what revenue level you're at, how many clients you had back then, how many clients you had now, and then we'll jump into the actual story behind it all.
Yeah, joined back in, I think, end of May. It was hovering around like maybe 10K a month. Like 10K was great to crack that. I was like pumped. Working more as like a fractional CMO kind of role, which I did not like too much, especially for long term, which we can get into later. So you guys helped me with that. And now at about 40K a month, we cracked in October. November was 35, and this month should be on pace for over 40 as well. So active clients went from roughly 3 or 4 to now about, I think I'm at 10 we're at right now. So,
well, that also goes to show, like, it's not just about how many clients you have, because you essentially doubled your client base but 4x your revenue.
yeah.
And so you're also getting higher quality clients, which goes into this whole Dream 100 outreach strategy. And I don't know if I'm supposed to name drop, so if you want to name drop some of the clients you work with, go for it. But like even ListKit as a client and Client Ascension as a client, and some of the other students and agencies in Client Ascension that work with you, I know there's some other really big names, but you've been able to acquire what we call whale clients for your services that pay you a lot of money, or at least give you a lot of upside when it comes to like performance and just giving you upside on the work that you're doing for them. So yeah, what has that been like? Because before, I don't know if you were working with any big name brands, but now you are, and that's obviously having an impact on the revenue levels you're achieving each month and the quality of work that you're doing. So talk on that experience a little bit.
Yeah, big time. I mean, that was something that, kind of adopting that strategy helped me. So basically I closed, GymLaunch, I work with them, Wojo Media, Jason Wojo, even like Max Start Event, Well Copy, he's a great guy, work with him too out of the group. Yeah, you guys too, working with you guys. So, I mean, it's been that strategy alone has changed a lot and helped me, those clients, like they may not be my top paying ones, but every time I name drop them, it's like, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. And it's like, now you can build that authority up. So
you
just
get
like
more value than just what they pay you.
Big time. Yeah. Big time.
Absolutely. And so I guess at the very start of the program, you're at 8 to 10K a month. You're doing like these fractional CMO services, which, like you said, you weren't really a fan of doing. They're not super scalable. So like, why did you join Client Ascension? Like, you're seeing people talk about Client Ascension. Like, what pain point is that hitting on, or what opportunities is it that got you excited in the beginning?
Pretty much just to like clear everything up. Like, it was just, all right, I have all these different skill sets and everything, and like all these different things that I'm just doing on a day-to-day basis. So I was like, okay, how do I just bundle it all together? And that was kind of the main thing. I think it was like the first call I had with Daniel, his offers call, and he told me like pretty much what to do. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll do that. And then I went on like another 2-week tangent of like not doing that. And then I DM'd him. He was like, am I an idiot or something? Like, why have you not done this yet? No, it's like, fair. So that was pretty much the biggest thing, is just taking all this stuff that I've been doing, all the past experience, and being like, how to do stuff, what you're doing, just like bundle it up this way and scale it that way. So just clarity has been huge.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you've made yourself very well known throughout the community because you lead with value. And I think that's also why you've experienced as much growth as you have, at least so far, is because you're willing to give value before going in and making a pitch and trying to close the deal. And what I mean by this is the example that I remember, because you showed up to a couple of my coaching calls in the beginning, and we bonded over the fact that you had, buy back your time on your bookshelf,
Mhm.
and you asked some pretty good questions on my coaching calls. But it wasn't really until we were on a call, and I think someone was asking, it might even have been you, like, what would you pay for in terms of like an agency service that has to do with paid ads, or something along the lines of like, what would you start, like, if you could start a new agency, like, what would you do and why? And I think I said something along the lines of like, agency, we don't hire an ads agency at our companies because we don't need someone to do everything. We don't need someone to come in and do media buying and all that sort of stuff. But what we do need is someone to help us churn out as many creatives as possible, because that's really like the one bottleneck for us. And so you immediately after that call, within an hour, drafted up this huge Gamma doc that was super personalized to ListKit and Client Ascension. And at the end of that doc, after explaining, your background and why you're, a good fit to help us with this, put an offer on there. And it was a free offer to help us with our ad creatives and YouTube videos and all this sort of stuff. Exactly what I told you to do, you actually did, like, immediately after the call, which I thought was awesome. And obviously we started working together after that, and that led to the relationship we have now. But is that a similar approach that you took with, GymLaunch? And I know you even done some work with Patrick Bet-David and his company. Like, how have you done work for these bigger companies? Like, what was the foot in the door?
Yeah, pretty much same thing. It's like with you guys, it was okay. I mean, you can also reach out to them and kind of see, what holes you can fill. But for the most part, I just literally funnel hack them, look at what they have publicly online, and I'm like, okay, here are a couple different, things that I see you guys can do. Like GymLaunch, for example. I noticed a lot of stuff on the funnel side and copywriting. Like they weren't even running a VSL funnel, which is crazy because I know they have a lot of high spend and they're running a call funnel. So I was like, hey, I'll redesign this whole call funnel for you. Here's a VSL script. Literally just say it. Here's 21 days of emails that will follow up after someone opts into the funnel that you guys can just plug and play into your HubSpot or whatever CRM you use and just like go. So it was pretty much just with you guys too, like you kind of gave me what you needed, but other ones I'm like, all right, what can I actually, seek out and how can I help them further? Like what can I find that's publicly available online right
Yeah.
now to like plug the holes?
Yeah, that's exactly it. You went and found holes that you can plug. And I think that's what stood out to me about your offer is like, you didn't come in asking to fully manage our ads and take over all the work that we were doing, which we didn't want anyways. Like, we like doing the media buying. We like doing the strategy part. Like, we like having our hand in a lot of the different aspects of it. So you didn't come in and say, hey, let me just do, fully done for you 100% A to Z ads for Client Ascension or List. You came in and said, hey, let me just do the creatives. Let me just help create with creatives and give you a bunch of creatives to then test in your own campaigns. And that's exactly what we're looking for. Similar to, hey, here's some emails that you can plug into your no-show sequence, or here's some emails you can plug into your re-engagement sequence or your follow-up sequence for deals that are in your pipeline. And even with just that hint of filling a hole, you can see immediate results from it, right? Like, if you have a bunch of ad creatives, you can see the results from those ad creatives. If you have emails that can go into a reactivation sequence, you can see how that impacts revenue. So I love that about your approach is you never go in, asking for too much control or asking to do too much. Because I think people associate that with, oh, I'm going to do everything and provide as much value as possible. But that's kind of scary for someone to just give up control of a major aspect of their business fully to someone they've never worked with. Is that like a part of your strategy that you've actually thought through?
Yeah, big time. It's like, I mean, the GymLaunch example was great. I started actually just copywriting for him, like emails, tweets, LinkedIn posts, stuff like that. And then it was like, okay, once your foot's in the door there, I started to provide more value within the organization. Like, hey, we should run this type of funnel structure, change this up with the ads, and like, then it spirals into something bigger. So it's always just coming from a standpoint of like, where's the value? Where can I just provide more value at? And just really don't stop at that. Like you, I think I've probably DM'd you so many different things, and
Yeah.
even like the ListKit like webinar funnel. I think that that's potentially running at a certain point. It's like
Yeah, a lot of
sent it
things
to
you start
Daniel.
working on, they don't, pan out and you move on. And I think companies like ListKit and GymLaunch and these bigger companies, like, they don't sit around on ideas very
Mm-hmm.
long. It's like they build them out, and a lot of times they build them out, and by the time they're built out, they've already moved on to something else.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
like that's a reality that many people are not actually, accustomed to, right?
Yep.
So
Exactly.
you see like a project or like a funnel, like let's just say like the list kit webinar funnel that you spent a bunch of time building out, like not actually being used. I mean, that's just part of it. And it's like, okay, well, we're just going to keep trying and keep working on different funnels and products and ad creatives until they do have something that they work.
Yeah, and something you do now might work in the future, and then it's like, still provided value, still there, still showed up. So, yeah, that's the main thing. Is like, there's too many agency owners I talk to, like in the community, even that hit me up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this Dream 100 outreach strategy and everything." And the first 19 pages are just like, "Why me? Why this strategy? Why hire me? Here's all my case studies." And then there's like 2 pages at the bottom of like, "Here's something for you." It's like, that's just a very aggressive cold outreach pitch that you basically did. You're not really giving any value up front. You're just like
Yeah,
mass trying to promote yourself.
makes sense. Makes sense. And I guess what's been the experience in the community, right? Like a lot of these things you already knew and have the skill sets for, but like what are some things you've learned being in Client Ascension that have helped you to grow from the 8 to 10,000 a month to 35 to 40K a month range you're now in?
Charging higher prices, and that's a huge thing. Tightening up operations and really just getting like clear with the offer. That was kind of the biggest thing that was just all year I was struggling with, was again the offer. Just like, how do I what do I even sell? Like, there's so many different
Yeah.
things I do. So how do I bundle it together and then not destroy it on the operations side?
Yeah, and not even bundle it together, right? Like just find one thing to start. And I think that's a struggle a lot of people have, especially like yourself, who just have so much to offer, and it's just so hard to pin down like the one thing that's valuable to who you're speaking to at that time. And I think that's why Dream 100 works so well, is because you're not putting yourself into a box. And one of the cool things too, and fast forward to now, since you've been in the program for 6 7 months, you're now officially a Client Ascension coach, an
Yep.
expert coach. You're now the Dream 100 coach in Client Ascension, so you're teaching students the same exact Dream 100 outreach strategies that you use to work with these whale clients like GymLaunch, and you're doing that through weekly calls as well. So I just think that's really cool. It's full circle, and most of the coaches in our program started as a student in the program, which I love because you showed that you were willing to invest into this program, and the community knows you, and you've done these strategies for yourself and your business, and we've seen the results. And I already know some students as well that have implemented what you're teaching, which is very new, by the way, and are seeing the impact. So I'm pumped for 2025 because that's going to be, the first full year with you in that role as a Dream 100 coach, just to see the different wins and results students are able to generate with it.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that. And I keep saying it too, like, there's no other community in the entire space I've been part of. I've spent a lot of money on coaching programs, like a exorbitant amount of money. And yeah, there's nothing that's like the community here. I mean, I literally just came back from Barcelona with a few of the guys from the group. We just said, screw it. I think I'm going in London in a couple of weeks with them too. So it just,
That's so cool, man. Yeah, that's what I love about Client Ascension as well. It's like the community aspect and the side quests that people in the community go on. Like you start to find people in the community you really resonate with and become really good friends with. And we've even seen it from like a business partner perspective of like there are business partnerships formed in Client Ascension, and there's countless examples of this happening. Some of the biggest business owners in our space started as individual businesses and then partnered up as a result of coming to a Client Ascension event or just meeting each other in the community. And then, like what you're saying, just even traveling together with some of the guys or to go and meet some of the guys because we're worldwide, right? We have guys all over the world in Australia and Denmark and the UK and Lebanon and South Africa, like literally all over the world is really cool. And that's been, a big part of this growth over the past 3 years. And it's not necessarily a revenue growth from a company standpoint for Client Ascension, but it's like an impact and a reach growth. That is obviously trailing with revenue. Revenue trails all of those things. So we're excited to just continue to build on what we've, established so far, and just to hear stories like yours where you can come into the community and transform it, because the community is not something that we necessarily have full control over and influence over. It's like the students kind of take it and make it their own, and you're a big part of that because you're so active in the community.
yeah,
So
that's something too, is everyone that I've talked to that's like active in the community has literally directly made more money than the investment NCA just from getting deals within the network of the community. Like
Yeah.
every one of them I talk to, it's like the ROI is literally just being there and like posting and just talking, giving value, and like showing up in channels and stuff. You will get people funneled your way. Doesn't matter what the service is. Like there are people that need what you have.
Or they'll refer it out, right? Like I love when I see in the opportunities channel, it's like someone goes in and posts like, hey, I have a client or a friend that's looking for this service. And there's like 3 people that get tagged. And it's like, boom, like they just landed the client inbound, essentially, right? Just by being in the community and people knowing them as the go-to person for email marketing for e-commerce or websites for courses or landing pages and funnels for info products or event coordinators for live events. Like there's services and people in there with a service for everything. And if you show up enough in the community, like when someone asks who can help with ad creatives or with funnels, the go-to guy is always at Evan Seech. And it's like, that's a result of you just showing up and being, a force in the community, which is props to you. And it's just cool that that's possible to build.
Props to you too, because you landed me I think a $2,000 landing page deal or something. You posted in the opportunities channel once, and they're like, just tell them that like Andre sent you if you're actually good. Like, I was like, yep, it closed. So yeah.
And that's the nice thing too, is like I always say, like if they're in client Ascension's really like a good litmus test, because the only people who are in client Ascension are people that were willing to invest a pretty significant amount of money into themselves and their own business. And it's like, I'd much rather, like if I'm hiring someone, that is a great way to filter everyone else out. It's like, did they invest a lot of money in themselves and their business, or did they not? If they didn't, I'm not even considering it. Like I'm throwing out all of those applications. If they invested in themselves, I have such a higher level of confidence that this person will do a good job and is just a good business owner. And even if they're not there yet, they have the resources because they invested in Client Ascension, but they also have shown that they're willing to invest in more resources to figure it out. Like they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure out how to provide the best possible service because that's what they're being taught in this program. And that's also just what they've done up to this point. They've invested their hard-earned money into coaching, which it's like, if you make, thousands of dollars from your agency, like, is it the sexiest thing to reinvest that into a coaching program without any guarantee that you make it back, or to pocket it, right? And the ones that are willing to invest, it's pretty, clear, like those are the higher level service people in the industry.
Yeah, big time. I'm an avid coaching program guy. So
yeah, I guess because you're an avid coaching program guy and you've invested in other programs and even work with other coaches in general, like what's different about Client Ascension in the best ways possible?
Definitely structure. Like structure and the amount of resources you have. It's kind of, there's like someone in there for every aspect of your business that you need. It's, cold reach out, ads, funnels, operations, sales, whatever it is. There's like someone there that has done it, does it currently, can help you with it. And then, just structure. It's just, there's other ones you just get thrown into like this massive Kajabi portal. And it's like, peace. We also have a call twice a week and you just come on. It's like, okay, there's no like start here, do this, get here. So that was cool. And then also having the one-on-one coach is huge. So every single, like I said, I've worked with a lot of coaching programs, still do. The ones that get the best client results have that aspect to it. And you guys dialed it in.
Dude, I appreciate that. And it's not even my structure. It's just college structure. So like obviously college and traditional education takes a lot of heat. And I also am one of the people on that side of the argument. But I think the inherent problem is people are just not interested in what they're there to learn. And also there's no skin in the game, right? Like if you're a kid, you're not really spending money on your college education. It's either your parents are sending you, or you're taking out loans, which you just don't see or feel the impact of that money. You're not like putting, like in Client Ascension, let's say $10,000 investment out of your pocket, right out of your bank account, seeing that line item on your P&L and being like, oh shit, like I got to make this work. Plus you're not interested in it. So college, the structure of college works. It's just missing the skin in the game aspect and the actual interest aspect. So people have skin in the game with Client Ascension because they invest their hard-earned money and they're interested, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't spend their money on it. And so everything else that you get from college, like the way I look at other courses, it's like, imagine you just showed up to class and they just gave you like a 500-page textbook and that was it. That's like the equivalent of giving you access to Kajabi. It's like, what am I supposed to do with all this information? What if I have questions? How do I actually put it into practice? How do I get it reviewed? who else is going through this textbook or different parts of the textbook that I could talk to and get their perspectives on things. And like the community aspects, so important. The consistent structured lecture styles are so important. Like we have more classes hosted every week live, like the one you're about to start doing, than you would in college, right? Like in college, you had a schedule of classes that you could go to. Same with Client Ascension. And you have different cohorts, like different graduation classes, different majors, like the different types of agencies you're running. So we just took that structure and it really, seems to work even with this coaching program industry.
Yeah, 100%. That's been huge.
Awesome, bro. Well, dude, thank you for sharing your success story with us. It's really awesome to see you went from 8 to 10K in revenue, but more importantly than revenue growth to 35 to 40K and over 40K in December, it's looking like. But more importantly than that is like the quality of work, the quality of clients you're able to work with. Like we even talked about, the names that you're working with, like GymLaunch, that's not even showing up yet in your revenue. Like give it a couple of months, like you'll be our next 100K a month case study, like guaranteed.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna say we'll be back here in April.
Yeah, I'm
slinging the
excited for
100K
that.
one.
So, but that's so cool, man. Like you've experienced a lot of growth since May, and more than anything, I have to say, like you've helped a lot of people, including me and my business partners at Client Ascension and ListKit. And I always see that as like the biggest win possible is if you can increase your earnings while also doing really good work that you can feel good about and see the positive impact from, which at least you're seeing it from us. I'm sure your other clients feel the same way. So just wanted to give you a shout out for that.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. You guys too. I would be doing fractional CMO work into my grave without it. So
awesome, bro. I'm happy we found each other. So last question then for the audience. If they're in Client Ascension, I always point them back to simply following you or DMing you in Slack. But for people outside of Client Ascension, where can they find you and follow you online?
Yeah, just Twitter, Instagram at Evan Seech. Trying to kick up the YouTube. So if there's any Dream 100 people out there, send it my way because I need someone to help me with the YouTube here. So, but yeah, those two spots.
Love it, bro. Well, dude, thank you again, Evan. I appreciate it, bro. And I'm pumped to have you back on in 2025 to talk about how you surpassed 100K a month and more importantly, continue to sign some more notable whale clients and just help a ton more people. So appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, man.
All right. Peace. Thanks for watching, guys.